What's up? This is Joe from the Buckeye Cast, bringing you post-game press conference and player interviews. We always started off with head coach Ryan Day. Then we have CJ Stroud. Then Big Chap, Miyan Williams. Then Julian Fleming, Javontae, Jean-Baptiste, and his sidekick Taron, Vincent. Then Steele Chambers, and finishing up with Zach Harrison. Here is Coach Day.
Before we get started, just wanted to, say during this 5-game stretch, just can't say how much we appreciate the support from everybody. This is our 5th straight game of over 100,000 in attendance, and we feel it, and it means a lot to us, and we certainly want to put on a good show for everybody, and then also all the people that make this work, to put on, a game. There's just so many people that have to do their parts, from ticketing to marketing to the operations to on the field to maintenance to facilities to the audio and video. I mean, there's just so many people, and certainly it all starts with our athletic director, Gene Smith. But just wanted to say thank you for that. It's been a good 5-week run here, and now we go on the road next week. But really want to say thank you to everybody involved.
We'll open up the questions. Front row right, Tim May. On 3.
Yeah, there we go. I got to ask, Ryan, 49-10 win, but most people, Twitter's abuzz about what happened between you and Greg Schiano there after Jesse Mirko took off on that punt. And
Sure.
Just what's your take on that, and what you guys say to each other at
I figured
midfield?
that'd be your first question.
Yeah. Well, I may not get another one.
Nah.
Well, I was going to ask about Miyan Williams.
No, they
asked that too.
Yeah, they came after the punt, and Jesse rolled out to the right. And nothing we had ever worked on. He just saw it and took it. He was just a football player. And then took that shot on the sideline, and things got heated. And one coach defending their side, one coach defending theirs. No hard feelings at all. Told him that after the game, and have an unbelievable amount of respect for him. So that's all that was.
Over to the left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, CJ's talked at length about you preaching to him, taking the easy stuff, not getting bored with the routine stuff. His interception today, is that why you preach that so much?
Well, clear. It was, you could see they had a really good game plan coming in. They were going to, huddle, wait in the huddle, snap it at 10 seconds, and try to eat as much clock off the game clock as possible, and try to win the game of possession. And then on defense, you could see they were playing a lot of 2 high safeties really deep and forcing us to run the ball, which we ultimately had to do. And we came out with a shot coming out in the first play of the second half, and we missed it, but there was a lot of really good throwaways that weren't there today by CJ, and he made some really good throws as well. So that's part of competing. That's part of it. Those are the types of games that sometimes we're going to have to play. And overall, I thought it was a job well done.
Over to the right, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Can you just update the situation with Trevion? Was that related to what kept him out of the Toledo game a couple weeks ago, or I guess knocked him out of that game? And go ahead.
Yeah, we certainly didn't expect that to happen going in, but then just struggled in warm-ups. So we were expecting him to play, practice this week, and so it showed up and kind of did linger from last week. But we were kind of surprised he wasn't able to make it, and so we had to go with Miyan.
And I guess just the extension of that, seeing Miyan step up and be a bell cow, sort of, instead of just the role sharing he's been doing.
Yeah, 23 carries, or 21 carries, 191 yards, 5 touchdowns, and the big one for 70 yards. It says a lot about the way he was running, especially in the red zone. I think our red zone numbers right now are really good, and it's a big part of it is the offensive line and the way we're running the football. But I just think overall the tight ends, the wide receivers, everybody's involved with this run game, but Miyan was running hard today and finished a bunch of runs in positive. He turns a 3-yard run into 5, keeps us on schedule, and and it was tough down there in the red zone. They kind of dug in a few times. We had to go for it on the 4th down, and but Miyan had a really good day for us.
Over to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Hey, Ryan, Tommy and Steele both had big games today. Just how much better are those guys playing than they were a year ago? What are the biggest ways in which you've seen those guys improve?
Yeah, I think they're just playing faster. They're diagnosing plays faster. They understand how teams are trying to attack them. And I think I mentioned this before. I think it's twofold. One is a year under your belt of playing and figuring out how teams are attacking you and in-game adjustments and just seeing things over and over and over again. And you think about some of the best linebackers that we've had here in the last few years. It's usually guys who have played and seen things. You can flash when you're athletic, but it's the diagnosing of plays and understand how teams are trying to really come after you. But then also I think they feel comfortable in the scheme. I think they really have a good relationship with Jim Knowles, who they meet with every day. He's their position coach, and so I think he gives them really good perspective on how he fits into the run, but also in the pass game, and that's huge. And you can just see it. I think they're playing that way. You can just kind of feel it when you're on the sideline. I'm sure that, from your point of view, you see the same thing.
Over to the right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, just a couple other personnel matters. Tanner McAllister came out of the game in the second quarter. Just what's his status, and as far as Cam Brown too?
Yeah, I don't really have much of an update right now on Tanner. We'll kind of evaluate him later today and tomorrow and kind of see where that's at. And then, Cam, we're trying to get back as soon as we can. Again, we kind of come in tomorrow and see where things are at and hopefully get a week of practice out of those guys. But again, we're going to always, make sure that we're following the lead of the doctors and the medical staff on the whole thing. And certainly the feedback of the players is critically important in all of this. So, at the end of the day, I'm kind of out of it. I trust the guys and they do a great job.
Second row left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, it seemed like that defensive front, the linebackers and the defensive line, really set the tone for you guys today, whether in the kind of swallowing things up in the run game, getting after Simon a little bit. Just kind of how important were they, how important were they today, and kind of setting the tone for you guys? Yeah,
I mean, it's anytime you're trying to stop the run and play great defense, you have to win the line of scrimmage, and that's a big part of it. And, you could see that they were disruptive just watching the play. You could see the line of scrimmage was getting moved back a bunch. But they did some good things too. But overall, I thought our guys had a good feel for it and a good edge. And so, now we got to keep building on it, go on the road next week. And but I think you're starting to see a rhythm with those guys up there in terms of rotation and the way that they're playing. It's starting to become a body of work, which is important.
Over to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, I just grabbed him. I said, what happened? And he said, I rolled out to the right, and he goes, nobody was on me. I said, okay. Anybody tell you to do that? He says, no. I said, okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
and just in general, it was obviously a comfortable win, but did it feel clunky at times to you?
I think it has to do with the way that, the way that they kind of went into the game, playing a lot of too high coverage, saying, all right, you're either going to run it for 5, and we're good with that. Or you're going to have to take the throws underneath. And then on offense, running it, huddling, running 30 seconds off the clock every play and snapping inside of 10 seconds. So, what happens with that is on offense, we end up with 59 total plays. They ended up with 56. So just not a lot of football there. And even at the end, in that fourth quarter, we're just kind of running out the clock and moving on. But, still, 49-10, still have a heck of a day. But in those type of games, you have to you're proud of the win. And it's hard to get style points when you're playing in that style of a game. And I think the one thing about our team is they're good with that. You talk to the guys on defense, they love it. But the guys on offense, it's not always the best, but they understand that winning's the most important thing. And if you start to get selfish or undisciplined, you can put yourself at risk in a hurry. And our guys know that it's important to make sure that we win, and we have to win different ways.
Over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, you just kind of said it. Your offense, or at least your passing game's clunky, but you still score 49 points despite them playing you the right way. How do you stop you if you were on the other side? Is this the way to do it, or?
It just depends. It depends on your personnel. It depends on what it is, and then we try to identify what's being done, and then we attack them in that area. If it's a too high structure, then we're gonna run the ball and control the clock, and that's okay. We're good with that. You can sit there and drop 8 every snap and say you're not going to throw the ball, or you can put a bunch of guys in the box and say you're not going to run the ball. That's why the balance is so important when you're playing, and this is a great example of that right here.
And real quick, without pressing the issue, is it your understanding, without getting into detail too much, Greg thought that it was a called fake punt? Was that part of what brought him over? And
Oh, I don't know. I think he was just coming over to defend his player, just because he was kind of over there on our sideline, and it was a late hit, and there was a lot of emotion. I think he was just trying to get his player out of there, and things like that happen in football, and he was just defending his player.
Over to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
When you see a guy go 52 yards up in your grill like that, though, and the both of you are squaring off, I mean, when's the last time the juice has flowed like
Clay,
that?
I'm not going to bite on that, so I'm sorry. I know.
It's confrontation, though.
Next question.
Over here to the right, Bill Landis, Rivals.
The forced fumble, and he tipped the ball too on the interception that Steele had. Just wondering what you thought of his play today, and maybe if you've seen him kind of building momentum to a game like this.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's playing well. I think he has built momentum. Watch the film and see how it was, but that was a huge play. Tips and overthrows are huge, and that was a tip that turned into an interception. And so, I think he's playing at a high level. We've got to watch the film and see, but I think he's been growing and building, and there's a chance he's playing his best football right now.
Got time for just a few more, folks. Over to the left, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Ryan, are you kind of having to start getting used to winning the games by running the football and playing good defense? Seems like that wasn't really your calling card last year, and now I think, by my count, this is your third time doing that this year. Is that just a change for you, and how good does it feel to be able to win like that?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, anytime you win games, it feels great, and it isn't about all the other stuff. You win, you move on, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to, and that's the way we look at it. And you can try to put a square peg in a round hole or vice versa, but if a team says they're going to take away this, then you have to do something else. I mean, that's just the way the game goes. And there's been times where we've played against teams that just say they're going to stop the run, and so we've thrown it, and you guys have seen that, and we have the ability to do that. And you can see today, their game plan. But that's when you talk about unselfishness, and certainly starts with the quarterback and understanding how to win the game, and that's what makes great quarterbacks. I mean, I think you look in the NFL, and I heard a great quarterback the other day say, "What's your favorite play in the red zone?" He said, "Run the ball." I mean, that's understanding what it takes to play winning football, and he understands that, and I think our whole team understands that.
And final question for Coach over here to the right, Austin Ward, Rivals, 97.1 The Fan.
Ryan, tell me if I'm taking this idea too far, but between last week with Jair's penalty, defending after the Mirko thing today, and spending all season talking about competitive stamina and toughness, does that apply to the coaching staff as well? And are you coaching with a different edge, do you think, than years past for your players?
I don't know. I know that this team is hungry. I know that we're playing with an edge. I think people feel that, and I wouldn't look too much into it. But at the same time, you have to bring it every single week, and that's everybody across the board for sure.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right, folks, I'm going to bring C.J. Stroud to the main podium for just about 5 quick minutes, and then I'll follow him up with Miyan Williams at this main podium, and I'm going to put some other players at the back there. And then we'll open up questions here at the front for C.J. Stroud. Who's got the microphone? Louisa, right over here, please. Tim May, on 3.
Yeah. Letterman Rowe. C.J., describe this kind of day from your vantage point. Obviously, it didn't seem like a big throwing day all the way around, et cetera, with the breeze, et cetera. But obviously, you tried to make Marvin Harrison Jr. a hero a few times. Things didn't click. Pass interference and stuff, but how would you describe it from your vantage point? Because Ryan Day was saying great quarterbacks just want to get the win, want to get the touchdowns.
First and foremost, I just want to give all glory and praise to God. Without him, I wouldn't be here. From my perspective, we won. Shit, I don't really care. I think their goal as a defense was not let our pass game win, and so we ran the ball. So, early in the season, I said I was cool with that. It's not just about me. It's about getting wins and about other people eating. So when it's time for me to shine and do my thing, I feel like we'll do that. But I think their main goal was just to stop us on the passing game. And, we still kind of had efficiency with that, but they were taking a lot of stuff away in too high coverage and things like that. But just got to be smart with the ball. And the one play out of halftime, and then after that, I think, we had a good game.
Was Miyan really feeling it today? What was you're around him a lot.
That's definitely one of my best friends on the team, so it's just good. It's really inspiring to see him have a good game like that, all the stuff he's been through, all the stuff he's still going through now to this day, all the work he puts in, and just how focused he remains. So it's kind of cool to see his work pay off.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
CJ, with you mentioned obviously you just want to win games. You mentioned they took away the pass today. You guys were able to run the ball. How important is a game like this today, going down the road, knowing that, like, hey, if they want to try to take you and your receivers away, you can lean on Miyan and Travion?
Right. I definitely think that's something that we need, just because, I mean, we are pretty dynamic on the outside, and then I think we do a great job on the inside protecting, and I definitely think that maybe other teams will try, but I mean, if we can run the ball that good and connect on some of the plays like we were doing in the past game, then it'll be a recipe for a win and success. So I definitely think that we'll continue to get better and better. Just got to clean up some things on the offensive side of just like pass pro and me just with my read, seeing one high, two high, and things like that. But they did some things on film we didn't think they were going to do. So just got to be prepared for everything. But I think we'll continue to be great.
Over to the right here, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Since you brought it up, can you kind of walk us through that first play of the second half? And is that an example of where they did something that you weren't expecting? Or
Nah, they just went to plain old cover two. The nickel carried. I thought I could fit it over his head and make a tight throw. Just got to be smarter. I mean, their safeties, when they run their cover two, they get so much depth that they kind of take away that and the whole shot, just because when he sees the ball, that's when he reacts. So I try to just fit it over the top. Could have made a better throw. Mecca ran a good route. The nickel carry, so I should have just checked it down in that cover two look, because they just put a whole blanket over the offense. So I just got to be smarter right there. I know that coming into the season, I knew I was going to get a little bit of that. And, I mean, in the first half, we didn't do everything that we wanted to do, so maybe I just was trying to press a little bit too much. So I just got to be smarter.
Does that kind of test your own limits?
A little bit of both. I mean, I'm never going to put this team at risk, I feel, to try something that I don't think I can complete. I know for a fact I can complete that ball. I just got to be a little better. I just got to step into a little more or something. I'm not sure. So, I mean, we'll get back to the drawing board, continue to watch film and get better. I mean, I think that's definitely this is a learning point. In the season, like, everything isn't figured out in any team in America, as you can tell around college football. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Buckeyes. We're going to continue to be great.
And we got two more questions for CJ over to the far left. Jeremy Birmingham, Rivals.
CJ, did you learn your lesson about trying to celebrate with DeWand after Julian's touchdown? Because sort of got knocked over. But for real, in this season, you seem like the receivers have been rotating in and out, a lot of nagging injuries, stuff like that. Is it harder for you to get into a established rhythm during a game if you don't know who's going to be there, or if practices are different or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I built a good chemistry with everybody. I mean, the young guys even, like, they come out whenever we throw routes and stuff like that. So, I mean, sometimes just we're throwing the ball so efficiently that it's just a big surprise when you're not perfect every Saturday. So I get why maybe the question was asked. But, I mean, I feel like our rhythm was fine. It's just we didn't get a lot of plays on offense totally. I think maybe we got 50-something. They got 50-something too. So just in college football, it's not a lot of plays getting around like back in the day when it was just spread offense, tempo. So now we just got to be smart with our drives, and we only didn't score on one drive. So if you look at that, that's a really efficient day. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think I could have made that throw on that third down too. If I could have stepped into it just a tad bit more. But yeah, I definitely think that we'll continue to get better. I mean, that's at the end of the day. When you look at games like this, like, what can you learn from? You can always learn from something in the game. So, I mean, we'll continue to have great rhythm. And, I mean, I think both run and pass has been great. So we'll continue to build. And final question over here to the right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
CJ, how hard is it for you in games where teams are really sort of focused on taking away the pass and sort of that deep stuff?
I mean, it's not necessarily too hard. I mean, at the end of the day, as a quarterback, you just want to win. So, I mean, I'm not in it for my personal stats or nothing like that. It's not about me. It's about this team. There's so many great people on this team that have decided to come play at this great university, and it would be selfish of me just to do things that are unordinary or just dumb to put the team at risk. So I think just being smart is definitely just – I mean, I think that we just want to win. So, I mean, if that means that I don't throw for a lot of yards, I don't throw for a lot of touchdowns, I can really care less. I'm here to win. So, but I definitely think if we get more possessions, then maybe we do a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I'm blessed to be here. So
great.
No, the breeze. I mean, y'all felt it. It was nothing. I mean, it was like. Nah, none of my throws sailed. I just missed it. It is what it is.
CJ, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
All right, next up front here, we're going to open up questions for Miyan Williams. Over to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Did you become aware of that touchdown record and that you were kind of approaching it? Did you know that at any point during the game?
I actually didn't. They didn't tell me until after I scored the last one. That's when I found out.
And I know that you and Trey have handled it so well, splitting carries, but how good did it feel today to be that guy, to get more of a featured role in the offense?
It's just a blessing. Just want to give a big shout out to the O-line, tight ends, and wide receivers for making that happen for me.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
One, mine. When did you realize? When did you find out Travion wasn't playing? And two, when you found out, or I guess not even that. When did you feel like you were getting into a groove? I mean, it seemed like you were running through people and by people all game.
It was, what was it? I think during the first drive, after the first touchdown I had, I was like, okay, we got to get this ball rolling. And I just told the offense we just got to keep going. I think it was right before the game. Yeah.
Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
When that happened, what did you like a jolt of energy knowing it was going to be you? And also the guys that you tied, Pete Johnson and Keith Byers, are legendary players. What does it mean to you to be in their company?
It wasn't like a joy of energy. I just told him, I looked him in his eyes, I told Trey, I got you today. And it's a blessing just to be just up there with them names. Those are legends here. So yeah, it's definitely a blessing.
Over right next door, Tim May.
Take
on 3,
yeah.
The Tim May podcast.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think about that, Miyan? Miyan, what's it like, the little handoff, all of a sudden you look up, just green in front of you. Take us through that play, because that really kind of put your day over the top.
When I broke and I just seen green grass, I was just running. I was just telling myself don't get caught. So I just kept running.
And how important is it to get one of those? Excuse me.
It's not really important. It's just it's a blessing. Just a blessing to have to break one. So yeah.
Over here to the right, Austin Ward, Rivals, 97.1 The Fan.
Mine, I could look it up, but I think it might be easier to just ask you. Did you have games like this in high school, 5-touchdown game, more? Or is this you did, all right.
The most I scored in high school was 6 touchdowns in the game.
Did you think that you would ever have one of these once you got to the next level, or you could do that again?
I never would have thought. I never would have thought I would have had a game like this.
You would have to come up with other touchdown celebrations, get more creative when you.
I don't think so. It's just a blessing, man. I just give all glory to God, man.
Over here to the far left, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Mine, it seemed like all of your touchdowns came, just a few yards away, but the 70-yard one, did you think you were going to get caught? It looked like you were high-stepping a little bit, trying to get away from everybody.
I was actually, once I was running, I didn't feel like I was going to get caught, but I was just, it was just in the back of the head, just don't get caught. I was just telling myself that, so yeah.
Can you kind of walk us through that play a little bit? How did that unfold? When did you see the hole open up, and once you saw it, did you just know that you were gone?
I ran, and then the safety had blitzed, but I made him miss. So, after that, wasn't nobody else in front of me, so I just ran.
And last question for Miyan up here in the front, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Can you just sort of describe for the rest of us what you're seeing on the field from this offensive line and the tight ends and receivers in front of you, and just what they're doing right now to propel this run game?
Just rocking off the ball and really taking their men and just driving them. So they're just doing a good job firming them up, just blocking.
Great. Miyan, thank you very much. Congratulations on a great game.
Thank you.
Yourself as you get more healthy, how do you compare week after week what you're doing right now?
Week after week is a process, just to continue to stay healthy and continue to keep my body, healthy enough, definitely healthy enough to play. But right now, I feel like it's just, constant improvement and a constant confidence boost. So I just gotta stay in the training room and continue to do what I'm doing.
Where do you think you're seeing the most improvement from this?
Just being able to run, to be honest. To be able to run around, just top ends, and just being able to get in and out of routes a little bit better. And I just feel like as a receiving group right now, we look really dominant.
On the touchdown there, when was the last time you felt like you were able to run that freely, confidently, quickly, whatever you want to, however you want to describe it?
It's been a little while, so it was definitely a good feeling.
Julian, Day talked about that touchdown where you basically ran through 3 people last week was probably his favorite play of yours so far. Have you always been a physical runner like that? What do you like about taking on contact?
I mean, I don't mind it. I'm a little bit bigger body of a receiver. I mean, obviously, I don't love getting hit, but like, I mean, if contact comes, I'm definitely not going to shy away from it. And I feel like that's definitely something I kind of embraced in myself. It's just that a little bit of physicality that some receivers don't have. But I feel like as a whole, our whole receiver room is pretty big and pretty physical.
Yeah, but like it feels like that's the thing that maybe sets you apart in that room is that you maybe, injuries aside, you came in with that type of mentality of you want to kind of bring the fight to a DB, whether it's on the route or after the play.
Yeah, I did bring it in a little bit. High school we only had one receiver on the field and we ran the ball a lot, so it was kind of something that just came along with came with from high school.
Julian, I think there's a lot of people right now that are kind of wondering what vibes are like in practice. There's a lot of guys that haven't been available the last couple of weeks. Can you speak to the physicality or the way that maybe guys are pushing themselves in practice beyond what might be normal?
Yeah, no, we've had really, really, really good weeks of practice, and it's going good on good sometimes, and there's a lot of collisions and stuff that goes on in practice, but that's just part of football. And injuries happen, and they are part of football, which it is sad to say, but sometimes injury could really put you to a point where you grow as a person. I feel like that happened for me. So some of the guys that are out right now are just being able to get back and be healthy and being able to get back on the field again soon. I feel like it's going to be a big confidence boost for us, and as well as the offense and the defense as a whole.
How do you try to find that line between playing hurt versus playing injured?
It's
nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah, no, it's really hard, and it really depends on who you are as a person. That's something I kind of fought with for a long time, because I always wanted to be a hard head and be a tough guy and not take care of my body the proper way. And eventually it came and bit back on me. So it's really hard having medium to figure out if you're really hurt or injured or if you can play through it. So sometimes you just gotta take the safe way.
It feels like so much of your time here has been kind of dedicated to answering questions about your health and not necessarily getting to talk about football. Are we seeing what Julian Fleming brings to the table these last couple of, whether it's the touchdown pass, whether it's the physical line, just from a football standpoint, being healthy and being out there, being able to show exactly why you were brought here in the first place? Are we seeing all that right now?
I feel like some stuff is starting to show through, just little glimpses and stuff like that going on, but there's still a lot of football to be played and still a lot of improvements to be made in regard to myself and especially us as an offense as a whole. So I feel like we're just going to continue to improve as a whole entire offense, whole entire team, and sky's the limit.
Given you did come from a school where it was either go hit somebody for a run play or run straight and be a better athlete than everybody else. Where have you maybe improved the most just as a football player?
Definitely just in little details, route running, top ends, foot space, depth on routes, distance from DBs, just stuff that I never really had to think about in high school. But coming here, everybody talent's equated. So what really wins is technique. So you gotta have better technique than the man across from you to really be successful.
How did it feel when you got that first touchdown this year?
It was a great feeling. It was. I feel like it was kind of like not a long time coming, but it was just like anticipated for me. Like I was hurt, and I was really good in camp. I was solid in camp. I was feeling good, feeling healthy, and then boom, I just had something little come and happen. So it was hard sitting down for those first 2 weeks, but you still got to encourage your team. So just being able to be out there with them again. It was awesome. So
it was kind of like, finally, now you guys see what I am.
I mean, almost finally. But like I said, I would never want to go back and not have those injuries, because really it built me to as a person. It really helped me grow as an individual and who I am right now. So,
Julian, what was CJ's demeanor like today? It was something that maybe we noticed. It wasn't a characteristic performance from him, and there's a couple of times that he looked a little bit disappointed in himself. But what was he like in the huddle, and what was he like on the sidelines?
He still had the same energy. He's the leader of the team, so he really brings everybody's energy kind of bases off him. So he's really hard on himself, obviously, as a quarterback, and as a person, you're always going to be harder on yourself. So he's very critical of some of the things he does, but he never brings it into the huddle or lets it affect any of the team like that. And overall, I feel like he still had a really, really solid game. We just ran the ball a lot. We had a really balanced attack, so I feel like it was a solid team performance.
Freely when you know the linebackers are so good behind you.
I say yes, and I think it goes hand in hand with it. We know that if anything, all winter and summer, like I touched on a little bit earlier, we worked on building a bond between each other and our teteammates, and knowing your brother is going to do his job. So we know that if if something goes wrong, you're gonna have a brother there. But we don't want anything. We want everything to be standpoint and sound point on, and just knowing that they're back there. I mean, it gives the defense tremendous comfortability and confidence in each other. I mean, you can see it in how we play. We all love each other, and everyone tries to celebrate with each other. That's just the bond of the brotherhood.
Are you guys ever like amazed at what Mike Hall's doing right now? It just seems like every time you guys need something on like a third down, he gets in the backfield. You're not far behind him. You guys all are getting there, but it seems like Mike Hall's the first one there. Are you ever just like amazed?
Nah,
Mike already got there.
Mike does that every day at practice.
I was about to say, we seen it.
We see it every day at practice.
You know what's
so
gonna happen.
you know Mike gonna get off. So it's no surprise at all.
Javontae, you've been around Zach so many times now. You've taken so many reps with him. I think people would say he played one of his best games. Would you agree with that? And what do you see from him that makes you think that he's just going to keep getting better?
I would say, yes, this was one of Zach's best games, and just seeing how he approaches practice, you can see it transitioning into the games. Just seeing how hard he goes, how physical he's playing, and how fast he's trying to get off the ball. It transitions. If you're doing practice, you're going to do it in the game.
It seems like you guys continue to mention practice. Practice is it's like so much more difficult.
Yeah, practice is harder than the game. For fact, 100%.
We want everything at maximum speed and velocity. Try to be most physical as we can.
Is that setting the tone for you guys for Saturday?
Yeah, that's set. I mean, we set the tone for the game on Tuesday. That's our hardest day of practice, so we get after it that day, and we have a good day on that day. We already know how the game gonna go. So, yeah.
I think there's some folks that are kind of wondering though, like, hey, what's practice like that guys are maybe a little more banged up than usual? Is there something to that? And because you guys are going so hard during the week?
No, I mean, injuries is a part of sports, so
all you gotta do is get in, get your treatment, and make sure you take care of your body. Sleep's an important part, recovery's an important part, but when it's time to practice, you gotta be able to go full speed.
You're not slowing down practice for nobody.
Talking about Zach, sometimes I think what he does doesn't show up on the stat sheet. How important is to have a guy like that up front that, maybe he doesn't record all the tackles or the sacks, but it seems like he still gets things done, and I'm not just talking about today.
I mean, most of the teams have been playing the way their offense has been designed. They've been getting the ball out fast, so it's hard to get sacks and stuff. But just the pressures, those all count. The tip balls, tips and overthrows, we gotta have those. So yeah, that's how. Yeah, you see, it's all shown out on film.
I wanted to ask you too, when Zach forced the fumble. Honestly, I thought you forced the fumble for how much you applauded and how much you were jumping up in the backfield. I just want to ask, you're talking about the brotherhood, you're talking about the building relationships you guys have. How exciting is it when your teammates make plays, especially when Zach's up?
I mean, it's very exciting. All the things that we go through together, it's not a moment where you see your brother do something good and you're not excited from it. It's just the amount of love and abundance we have for each other.
How weird was it playing against Rutgers offense today? And they were, they're known for the gadget plays, the trick plays. Was it a little different, or were you guys fully prepared?
No, we were fully prepared, yeah.
I mean, you guys obviously look prepared. You only gave up 10 points, right? But still, there was a couple of plays there, like, they do a little sweep, and then they throw back to the quarterback, onside kick, stuff like that. It just looked like they were trying their best to throw as many.
Yeah, I mean, they did all that. They only had one touchdown, so it worked out really well for them.
What's it like for you guys mentally when you get them off the field, punt happens, muffed punt? What goes through your head when you have to go back out there now with the short field?
Well, we believe we're the best defense in the country, so wherever we get in the ball, whatever position we put in, we're going to try to get a stop. So nobody was phased.
Give us an inch, and we're going to defend it. It don't matter how small it is or how big it is. We're going to defend it no matter what, and we're going to do it.
D-line knows what we're doing. We know what D-line's doing. DBs, they know what we're doing. We know what they're doing. It's just everyone's really just in tune with what's going on in the grand scheme of things. I think that's really good for us.
Do you feel faster defensively this year?
Yeah, because really what Coach Knowles has done for us is just let us play ball. He always says that all the mistakes on Saturdays are on him, so he just lets us really play free.
The offense on defense type of thing. How much do you like that?
Oh, I love it. I mean, as a defense, you have to be aggressive. You can't be on your toes. You saw that guys last year at times, so yeah.
Steele, Zach had the forced fumble, had the tip that led to you. He doesn't always put up big stats, but he seems to be involved in a lot of things. What does he give you guys defensively?
Oh, he gives us a lot. He's long, he's fast, he's quick, he's strong. He just creates chaos up front. I mean, them, like I said before, the D-line's just been doing great, and he's a huge part of that.
Is there something to a guy who maybe doesn't get the tackles, the sacks that other guys do, but still has an impact when you turn on the field?
Yeah, they're what keeps the defense running, because without them, we can't do anything. We're getting swallowed up by linemen, but I mean, they're taking on all the blocks, and they're still making plays, which is incredible.
You had 2 TFLs.
Yes.
Why are you able to get them back to the horse? Is it the defense? Are you seeing things quickly? What is allowing that?
I think it's just make sure both of those things. It's the defense creating chaos up front with a couple of those calls. I was just really doing my job, so just got to execute my job, and then you see what happens.
It's probably maybe an annoying question for you.
Go for it, man.
We talked all last year about the improvement to comfort and having a year. Adding that now with 4 or 5 games in the system, a new system, how much improvement are you still seeing week over week for yourself?
At times, it's a struggle to improve because, I mean, like Coach Day sometimes says, there comes a human element where you start to get sore. Each week just starts kind of like bleeding to each other, but I mean, sometimes you just got to buckle down and really just like try to see what you can improve on in order to get the team better and overall, obviously, get yourself better.
And we kind of beat that in the ground in the spring. Like, it's going to be more comfortable. You're going to see things different. When you complicate that with that into having maybe learn some new things, are you more comfortable through 5 games than, let's say, week 1? I mean, understanding better feel for what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just every single week we watch the tape, we critique ourselves, and over time you're just going to see the entire defense coming together and really just understanding like, what's going on. That's it.
Thanks to that, of course.
Steele, does having Jim as you guys' position coach, and in addition to being the defensive coordinator, does that change things? I mean, is there more pressure on you guys because the defensive coordinator is in your room? Ryan's mentioned it a couple times.
Personally, I think there is. I mean, he's on our ass about like the grades after the game and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's for us. It's just really cool because we're hearing what we need to know exactly from the source. And I mean, he created the defense himself. I don't know how he did it, but I mean, if the dude that created the defense is teaching you, then I mean, you have to listen to him.
This might also be a silly question.
And you're back this week. It was with Coach Giano, Vincent last week. Jair's penalty. How does that resonate on Saturday?
I mean, it's not new. Like I just told us, coach, they always got our back. So it's something I know we go on the field. Coach, they got our back. It shows it every day in meetings, every day in the offseason, and we got his back in the same way. So that's just how it is. That's how he is.
Sorry for asking.
No, you're good. You know,
to hold it to 187 yards, under 200 yards.
Yeah.
How much pride do you guys take if you can do that? Not just keep them out of the end, but also one possession.
Yeah,
a lot. A short possession too.
Yeah, a lot. You know, we definitely as a defense, you know, we're building a mentality that that goal line is ours. Like we defend it regardless of where you put the ball at. And that's the kind of the mentality that Coach Knowles brought. And you know, a lot of guys are adopting it, and we get on the field. It's like no, you got to go through us to score. And that's kind of the mentality that we have.
This defense is still producing. You've had a lot of guys dinged up this year.
Yeah.
It just seems like whoever goes out there, nothing stops. Just comment on that.
I mean, it's next man up. It's Ohio State. You know, we got depth from the 1s to the 4s. You know, everybody can play football. So, you know, if one guy goes down, next man up is our mentality. And you know, we take pride in that. You know, so we send like. I'm on the field and somebody comes in, like I know they got my back and I know they're going to go hard. And same thing, if they're on the field and I come on, I know we're just as good as players. So, you know, it's kind of like just next man up, you know.
Can you speak to the physicality in practice?
Y'all both asked the question at the same time.
How good did it feel to make a couple of impact plays?
Good.
I mean, you played solidly all year. Have you had the kind of season so far? Not the season.
Yeah.
You happy with how you played?
Yeah.
One more answer.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Zach, there's a lot of people that are asking about just the physicality of practice. Maybe guys aren't quite as 100% as maybe you'd want to be coming into games. Can you give us an idea at how hard it's been in practice recently, and maybe guys that are a little more banged up than usual?
I mean, like I said, it's Ohio State, so we're all competitors. So if you line us up, we're gonna go hard, and that's something I think is a weapon that we use. You know, we practice hard. The only way to get better during the season is to practice. And I feel like that's something that we're doing. Like I can feel our team getting better as the season goes on, and that's should be to practice.
And then how about for you? Like, thankfully, knock on wood, you've been relatively healthy. How do you try to find that line between like when you can play through something? I mean, there are guys that are obviously playing through stuff at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like everybody's different. I don't try to compare injuries because every guy's different. You don't know how that's affecting their body. So, at least for me, like I feel like I can go and I can go. And if it's something that's bothering me and I feel like I can't perform my best and play the best I can, then I'm not going to go. And I feel like that's how it's for a lot of guys, So, like I said, everybody's playing through something, and that's just a testament to the toughness of our team and how we train in the offseason and how Coach Mick has our mentality. You just go out there and play.
Okay, 5 straight home games. You're in a road team. What's the challenge next week on the Michigan State?
I mean, they're going to be rocking. Like the stadium's going to be rocking. I already know it. I've been to Michigan State. Those fans are electric. It's going to be a fun environment, and we haven't been on the road yet, so it's a unique challenge for us. We haven't had to deal with being on a plane for a couple hours, and how that affects your body and hydration. Something that we're going to have to rely on the veteran guys who've been there and done that before to really be like, nah, like this is how we handle the away games.
So what advice do you give to the young players on the road?
Drink water and stretch.
I'm really upset that's not make you break down the strip side today. Which one did you like more? Like, can you just kind of walk me through those two plays?
Well, which one I like? I mean, still got to pick on one of them, so I like that.
Okay, then break down that.
I mean, it was just we got on the field and it was third down. Coach Jay told us to go rush and got the ball, and I fit the guard and we kind of gave some ground. So I thought I'm just going to walk him back to the quarterback, and couldn't get there all the way. And Coach Jay always says match the hand if you can't get there. So I should have put my hand up and affect the throw and affect the pass, and having to be tipped and still caught it. So.
And the forced fumble, it's not like a typical strip sack where he's just like back there. He's already trying to take it off.
Yeah.
Were you trying to go for the forced fumble there?
Honestly, nah. I just tackled him. The ball popped out, and I was like, that's kind of dope.
Zach, how have you seen Steele and Tommy both elevate their games this season?
Yeah, Steele's like sideline to sideline guy. There's some plays he made out there. It was like, man, like that's a good play for a linebacker to make, like all the way, getting her out of bounds. And so that's Steele's strength. And Steele's great in pass coverage. And he's a great linebacker and an asset for us. And Tommy's that dude. Like Tommy's been that dude. Like I'm a first person on the Tommy train. Like Tommy's that dude. Like pass, run, does it all.
How much does that help you guys play with confidence when you know you've got those two guys right behind you?
A lot. Like, I love it. Like look back and like, what was that? And Tommy just do this. It's like he's kind of like a quarterback out there for the defense. He's a leader. He's a guy that all 11 guys is like, nah, Tommy got our back, so we got Tommy's back. And the plays he's making, like I always ask all the time, like why is Tommy's name not in there? And on all the Twitter and on social media, why is Tommy not up there? Because Tommy's one of the best defensive players in college football, and I really believe that.
I think like a couple of weeks ago, I asked you about playing inside, and you were like adamant. It was one snap. It wasn't a big thing. I think it was more than one snap today.
Yeah.
How do you like playing in there? Especially in that rushing package.
No, I definitely like it. I definitely do, and I do like it, especially rushing with the other 3 guys on the field. Like having JT and Jack on the edge, I know they're going to get pressure. I know they're going to get the quarterback off the spot. And I know if I can push the pocket and make it where the quarterback can't step up, either I'm going to get a sack, or JT's going to get a sack, or Jack's going to get a sack, or Mike's going to get a sack. It's kind of we're all just out there rushing together. And I feel like with all 4 of us on the field, and not just us 4, whoever goes on there in the rush, like we just have confidence in each other, and that we can just rush together and cause havoc in the backfield.
You made plenty of plays in your career, but like putting you inside, doing stuff like that, stuff going on with Jack, it feels like you're being a little more versatile on what the stuff that you guys can do, know what's on the pigeonhole in one spot. When those conversations were happening, whether it was spring or fall camp, were you kind of taking back fire? Were you excited about the opportunity?
I mean, I trust my coaches, and they feel like I can impact the game in that position. So I'm going to do. I'm going to put my hardest that I can there, and hopefully I can help the team make some plays.
Zach, how much faster is this defense overall this year compared to last year?
I really don't know.
Do you think it's faster?
You talking about like the players or like the
way you guys the way you recognition?
Honestly, I think it's the mentality that we have now. It's just different. Because, I mean, I feel like after that Notre Dame game, Coach knows that we can win games on defense. And I know we've had that mentality since my freshman year. Really, like, no matter what the offense does, they're going to do what they do. Who knows what happens? We can win a game on defense. We can win a game 7-0 if we beat you, 3-0 if we beat you. And that's really what we felt like when we stepped on the field.
Does that feel like 2019? Like, is that feeling back, or is it new?
I think it's new. I think just Coach Knows brings a new little flavor. I mean, He's just Coach Knows, man. I don't really know how to put a word on it. Just different mentality, just different way of approaching it. And just go, like I said before, just go play. You guys are all good football players. You are more than capable of doing what you do. Just go play, and everything else will take care of later.